Before we talk about the subject matter at hand, which is Julen Lopetegui, a bit of Mikel Antonio, good news actually. Just want to address a few of the comments that there have been over the last day or two, particularly after the Newcastle result. I was really pleased with Newcastle. Not just result, performance, by the way, the Newcastle performance. And I was delighted because I felt that we were seeing a new direction. I felt that Julen Lopetegui had maybe sort of crumpled up his initial ideas, thrown them in the waste paper basket, and he had gone with something a little bit more pragmatic, but also I felt a little bit allowed us to play a little bit more fluid football. I was pleased about the game, delighted with the result. I was really pleased with Jared Bowen, Max Kilman, Carlos Soler, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Am I missing people out? You're damn right I am. There was a lot of good performers in that game. And I found myself answering a lot of comments, but a lot of the same comment. And they were, get real, calm down, don't get carried away. And I felt, it was, get that, stop it, stop getting excited. Stop it, level out a bit, mate, level out a bit. Nothing nasty, nothing mean in the comments. But I thought to myself, nah, I don't really want to. I want to be able to get carried away. And I do. If you watch the video after the Nottingham Forest 3-0 loss, that's the opposite side of it. Oh, not happy at all. And I just think those are the emotions of a football fan. I just pretty much wanted to say on next, it wasn't just me. There was other people on the chat who were really excited about it and really excited about the win. Then someone else would come down, well, hold on, calm down. Don't get too excited. Like, no, get excited. Be excited if you want to be excited. It's a game of football. Don't worry about it. Don't let anyone else regulate how excited you feel. Don't let anyone else tell you how pleased you should be with the result of a football match, of a performance, or an individual player, or whatever it might be. I got to the point of I can't reply to everybody on it. I can't keep fighting a battle, but that's how it is. Do you know what I mean? So if you don't want to chill out, don't chill out. All right? Get as excited as you want. And if we lose and we get thumped, if we lose 6-0 to Arsenal, if Arsenal put 6 past us like they did in one of the games last season, be as pissed off as you want. All right. There you go. That's all I'm saying on that matter. Julen Lopetegui. I was going to do a video today, actually, about his press conference. These press conferences are bad. I mean, really, really bad. To the point where if I was a journalist, I'd think, man, I've just wasted my time here going to a Lopetegui press conference. It's not my... by the way, I just want to point out, I'm not here to dig out Lopetegui today. That is not it. I'm actually pleased for him. And I really am. When I saw him on that touchline, he was all unshaven, he looked like he'd slept on a park bench and all the rest of it. I was worried about him. I think it was somebody on Facebook or Twitter or something, had put a picture of Lopetegui when he joined West Ham on one half of the post, and on the other half of the post was a picture of Lopetegui now. And it's basically the first picture, he was all like tanned and looking suave and all the rest of it, and looking like he had a real zest for life. And then the other picture next to it was him like that, all grey beard, stubble, looked tired, looked like he hadn't slept, looked like he had the worries of the world on his shoulder. And somebody had put that West Ham effect, and I thought it was really, really, really good. But I don't want to see anyone looking like that. So I was pleased for West Ham because I felt that we needed the win. I wasn't one of those ones that do you know what? I will take this Newcastle game as a loss so as we can get rid of Lopetegui. Even though, to be fair, I'd run out of patience with him. If I'm honest, I'd run out of patience with Lopetegui. But I thought we were 3 points above the relegation zone. We're not in a position to be throwing away 3 points. So I really wanted to win. So I was pleased for us, for West Ham. But I was also pleased for Lopetegui because I thought, OK, that'll get his pecker up. That'll perk him up a bit, that result. Brilliant. So I was pleased for it. I'm not looking to dig out Lopetegui here in this video. And I hope, as much as anything, that this new high intensity, because we ran loads and loads and loads. I think our running performance, we ran more distance during that game than anyone else. I think Tottenham have run... I think there's one team, Tottenham, under Ange this season, have run more distance than us. So basically, the second most energetic performance, that is the term we're looking for, in the whole Premier League this season was us against Newcastle. I think if we can continue to see that energy, 2 passing players who are comfortable with a ball, basically 2 creators rather than 2 destroyers in central midfield, you call it pivots or call it what you want, 2 creators rather than 2 destroyers in midfield, I want to see more of it, and I'm very, very happy with what I've seen. So it's not my intention to dig him out. But I've got to say, in the press conference, he was asked about everything. He was asked about Mikel Arteta. I spoke a little bit about him. And what about, I said, what about Arsenal players? He said, I don't want to talk about any individual Arsenal players. What? They said, well, what about Newcastle? Oh, I just want to look forward now. So he said against Newcastle, I don't want to look back at that, I want to look forward. Okay, well, what about the Arsenal? Well, I don't really want to talk about that. Mate, you're thinking, thank goodness, honestly, if you'd have driven a couple of hours and you're a journalist driven to that, you'd think, mate, come on, answer the question. But no, listen, I am pleased for him. I am very, very pleased for him. What I do want to know with Lopetegui is, though, the change and the switch that we saw tactically, and I guess everything else in terms of attitude as well, was so stark. It does leave me with questions. Not questions that would ever get answered at a press conference, of course, but this is what I would want to ask him. And I don't know if you could do this with a press officer, but I would like to force him to answer these questions. They're quite obvious ones, but I just think it would give us more of a view to going forward. Right, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And, of course, Mikel Antonio. Good news on the Mikel Antonio front, or all in the striker front, really. Before I do that, can I please point in the direction of today's sponsor, which is Match Bingo. Now, most of you are going to know what Match Bingo is. Most of you have already downloaded it, right? If you haven't, the link is in the description below. Basically, it's a bingo game that it swaps out. Rather than having numbers in bingo, it gives you incidents that happen in a football match, easy stuff, a shot on target, a shot off target, a throw in, a corner, that type of stuff. Fill up your cards and you win some money. I'm not going to go any more detail than that. All I'm saying is, if you already have been playing Match Bingo and you've already downloaded the app, go and check your account, because you may well find that you've got some funds in it left over. And if you're going to do so, make sure you go and get on a game. Get on a game this weekend. It's only £2 per play. If you want to go and deposit some money, if you deposit £10, Match Bingo will match it, funnily enough, with another tenner, so you'll get £20 worth of credit. There's loads of deals, there's loads of offers going on Match Bingo at the moment, because they are a start-up company. They've been really good, excellent sponsors of Hammers Chat. We're absolutely delighted to continue working with them. So go and check it out. Link is in the description below. But do remember, it is a gambling app. It's a gambling app. So even though it might only be a £2 stake here or there, you've still got to be 18 and above to play it. Go and check that out. You may well be surprised. You may well find you've got some money in your account that's sort of left over there. And I have, put it this way, I've won before and not even known it, gone back in there for often. There's a tenner in my account. Very nice too. We've had over 110 Hammers Chat winners from you guys that watch the videos over on Match Bingo. Okay, Lopetegui, here's the question I would like to ask. And it's something that's been going around in my mind since last week, when Gio did a really good job of explaining how Lopetegui's chosen method, chosen tactics, is to control midfield with passing players. So with that in mind, I found it was quite telling and quite timely how we immediately, maybe you watched Gio's video, you don't know, but I found it quite telling and quite timely how that had changed for the Newcastle game. So suddenly, off the back of being told that Lopetegui has not really been supported by Tim Steidten because he hasn't got enough players in central positions that like to control the tempo of the game, so quickly afterwards we saw him do exactly that against Newcastle. So I guess my question would be, if that's his ethos, if that is his methodology that he is so entrenched in, why did he, I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but why did he carry on playing sort of defensive players for so long in central midfield? Because if what you're saying is, I'm going to control the game, I want players to play 1-2, it's going to be pass and go, it's going to be give and go, we're going to pass the arse of the opposition. I found it really, really weird that he'd not done that. And Gio in his video made the point, which is, if that's the type of football you want to play, why would you go and get rid of Flynn Downs? Why would you go and get rid of James Ward-Prowse, for instance? So I think that's a question I would like the answer to. Because Guillem Balaguer, if you don't know who he is, he used to be the presenter of Revista La Liga. He was the Sky Sports correspondent for La Liga and Spanish football. But also he's a really, really good pal of Lopetegui. So if there's been times, particularly during his tenure at Wolves, when things maybe didn't go quite so well, particularly towards the end, would be very much be Balaguer who would come out in support of him in the press. So after the win against Newcastle, Balaguer very much said, there you go, these things take time. It takes time as a West Ham manager, and now you've seen it. And he called it a double pivot. He said the double pivot of Lucas Paquetá and Carlos Soler controlled the game, blah, blah, blah. I'm completely paraphrasing what he wrote, but he put this social media post out there. It would say, look, I understand him coming out and supporting his mate, but what I don't understand is why haven't we seen that up to now? And even if it wasn't those two, surely you'd put Lewis Orford in there, who can pass and play that type of game. Or you wouldn't have got rid of Flynn Downs, who can go in there and he can play that game. My question is, if he was so wedded to controlling the midfield, why are you playing a midfield trio of Souček, Rodriguez and Alvarez on occasion? Why would you do that? Why would you play those players in there? I just don't understand it. I think Souček's shown... Well, the Newcastle game's shown that you can have one of them in there, right? You can have one of them, as long as you've got those two that can dovetail and play off each other. I just found it a little bit odd. What was it that made you arrive at West Ham and think, I'm going to throw that out the window? I don't want to do that. That stuff that maybe I'm famous for, that stuff that I want to do. I'm going to go another way. I'm going to be a little bit more defensive. Speaking of which, that dog, my puppy, is running around the garden. I don't know if you can hear him barking. He's found a football. He's got a little bit more skill than some, by the way. And I think he thinks the football is alive. I don't know if you can hear him. Hold on. I'll try and get him in. Zippy, come here. He may or may not come. Just finally, whilst we're waiting for him to come, which might not happen, you can hear him, can't you? Growing up. He's barking at that football. He's had his chance. Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio's been rumoured that he's going to leave in January. Not happening, say the club. He ain't leaving in January. And the other thing was he could sign pre-contract terms and join Galatasaray. So he can sign for Galatasaray in January, but then join them in June. The club said, no, not the case. Here he is. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Hello, mate. Right, you are mad. Here he is. Here he is. This one here. Oh, yeah, he's a good boy. He's a big boy. Look, see how big he is? He's even bigger if he goes close to the camera. There he is. Right, go on. Go and find your football. Got a better first touch than Antonio, to be fair. So, yeah, but not happening, say the club. That is just not going to happen at all because the club have got an option on Antonio. So, actually, his contract, technically his contract is up at the end of this season, but they've got an option for another year, and it sounds like the club are going to extend it.